Yeah, hi. Let's talk about death. Enhanced interplay of neuronal coherence and coupling in the dying human brain. 22nd of February 2022. The neurophysical footprint of brain activity after cardiac arrest during near death experience is not well understood. Although a hypoactive state of brain activity has been assumed, experimental animal studies have shown increased activity after cardiac arrest, particularly in the gamma band resulting from hypercapnia prior to and cessation of cerebral blood flow after cardiac arrest. No study has yet investigated this matter in humans. Here, we present continuous electrocephalography (EEG) recording from a dying human brain obtained from an 87-year-old patient undergoing cardiac arrest after traumatic subdural hematoma. An increase of absolute power in gamma activity in the narrow and broad bands and a decrease of theta power is seen after suppression of bilateral hemispheric responses. After cardiac arrest, delta, beta, alpha, and gamma power were decreased, but a higher percentage of relative gamma power was observed when compared to the interictal interval. Cross-frequency coupling revealed modulation of left hemispheric gamma ray by alpha and theta rhythms across all windows, even after cessation of cerebral blood flow. The strongest coupling is observed for narrow and broad gamma ray activity by the alpha waves during left-sided suppression and after cardiac arrest. Albeit the influence of neural injury and swelling, our data provides the first evidence from dying human brain in a non-experimental, real-life, acute care clinical setting, and advocate that the human brain may possess the capability to generate coordinated activity during the near-death period. So I don't want to bore you with the whole article, so let's go a bit further on, probably to the end of it. Yeah, let's continue from here. The alpha band is thought to critically interfere in cognitive processes by inhibiting networks that are irrelevant or disruptive. Given that cross-coupling between alpha and gamma activity is involved in cognitive processes and memory recall in healthy subjects, it is intriguing to speculate that such activity could support at last recall of life that may take place in the near-death state. Unlike previous reports, our study is the first to use full EEG placement, which allows a more complete neurophysiological analysis in a larger dimension. Further, the data was obtained from an acutely deteriorating patient. Previous human reports were limited to frontal cortex EEG signals that were analyzed by neuromonitoring devices, which may have captured artifacts, and the focus was set on critically ill patients in chronic settings. In line with our findings, electrical surges were also reported in these studies after cessation of blood circulation. In considering how these findings might be generalized to understand the typical patterns of brain activity during death, there are several caveats that must be considered. First, an important consideration is the patient's post-traumatic brain that suffered hemorrhage, swelling, and seizures. Traumatic brain injury and white matter damage can influence rhythmic brain activity. When deprived of oxygen, cells go through a brief phase of enhanced excitability, and the brain generates the activity patterns that are dictated by its connectome. The changes in network excitability can increase synchronization after partial differentiation or trauma-induced epilepsy. It has been argued that the default emergent activity patterns of the causal network are highly synchronous slow waves arising after the cortex is physically or functionally disconnected from external stimulation, e.g., during sleep, anesthesia, or in vitro slice preparations. Second, anesthesia-induced loss of consciousness can alter neural oscillations, including alpha waves, and increase phase synchronization of gamma oscillations, whatever that means. Third, dissociative drugs and psychosis are linked to a surge in gamma synchronization as observed in schizophrenia, opening the possibility that dissociative events and drugs can cause an increase in gamma activity. Fourth, the patient had been placed on significant doses of anticonvulsant medication, which could directly affect the neural network activity. Yeah, somehow I just think about dissociative events and drugs can cause an increase in gamma ray activity. Where have you been? Especially the pre-arrest surge in gamma synchronization observed in rodents and in humans, as seen in this study, could be caused by hypercapnia and resulting acidosis, which may stimulate gap junction activity that is critical for gamma oscillations. Maybe I should read something about brains. Sixth, no normal activity was recorded with the EEG that can serve as a true baseline for comparison. Finally, while stereotype neural activity patterns are conserved during daily behavioral tasks, it is not researched whether a similar evolutionary constraint demanding a proscribed process is present during the transition phase to death. Yeah, that's probably a text to work through a bit better. Googling stuff. Despite these caveats, the overall similarity and oscillatory changes between the highly controlled experimental rodent study and the present work suggests that the brain may pass through a series of stereotyped activity patterns during death. It may ultimately be difficult to assess this in a physiological environment, since gathering such data from healthy subjects is impossible by definition. Okay, yeah, a dying person might not be healthy. We do not anticipate death in healthy subjects and therefore could not obtain uninterrupted recordings in the near-death phase in anything other than from circumstances involving pathological conditions in acute care hospital settings. Yeah, that's really understandable. So I heard once that our memories are stored in our aura, not in the brain. It's just the brain may just be the place where they make the connection to each other and therefore create matter. Yeah, this sounds crazy, but let me explain. Like they told us in the Matrix movie, your thoughts are just electromagnetic impulses interpreted by your brain. So there's something going in, information in your brain. And then there's your memory. You are your memory. You are the sum of your memory. Everything you know is a memory. Every experience, everything is a memory. Maybe we could imagine ourselves, our brains, and our aura, like this kind of plasma ball where you can put your finger on and then it just makes the connection to the glass, like inside the plasma ball. Probably this is the same like how we work. There's some input and it makes the connection to all those memories which are related to this input. And as it makes a connection, there is a surge of energy. And as we learn, like in Birkeland currents, like inside the current, you'll find silica and iron and all these kind of things. And like stars are born, they are born in a sea pinch. Like there's a really high amount of energy. Or like the Sapphire Project, they basically created all kinds of things out of thin air just by using electricity. An anode cathode setup. And they had matter after that. They had, I don't remember exactly what, all kinds of things they created in their chamber just by having this electromagnetical discharge. And you probably have cried once at least in your life, and you had the experience of crying. And there was tears, your nose was flowing, and probably the reason was somehow something really big. It mattered so much that you were crying. It was shaking you so much up that you were crying. It mattered, really, literally. And as a proof that it really mattered and there happened some kind of discharge event, let's take our tears as proof of a discharge event happened because they are matter. Something which hasn't been matter, just a thought and information which came to you into your brain. It got processed and it got a huge reaction. There was much of energy, whatever energy it might have been, I don't know. Electromagnetic energy, information, waves. And it mattered so much that your body had to discharge, like a thunderstorm has to discharge with rain and thunder or lightning. So the tears are like rain. It's a discharge event. And they are made of different kinds of things. Depends on the reason why you're crying: anger, sadness, disappointment, whatever. Mind-blowingness. And they were talking about these gamma rays. I'm not really sure, but isn't the universe's background like somehow gamma ray? Like, I have to check this a bit more out. But the surge of electro energy happened like really at the end and all these kind of things. I just think it's basically the aura shrinking. And when it's really at the end, like the bubble, the aura gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And the moment when it, in a way, like implodes into itself, it's the moment where the energy gets released and someone really is dead. Because if there is no energy anymore flowing, there will be no magnetic field. That's also a reason why there cannot be just a magnetic universe, because magnetism is just, how to put it, the cause of the electric energy. We need energy in order to live. And magnetism is just something really, really, really important. Like, it's not a byproduct, it's a part of it in a way, but at least I mean, the energy, like your heart gets electroshock many times a day. Your muscles work with electroshocks. Our blood is red because it contains so much iron because it's really conductive. We need it. That's why another proof for it is maybe Birkeland current because really in the center you get iron. It's really important. And yeah, I want to show you a quick video still. Yeah, I was watching about sea pinches, Birkeland currents. Sea pinch is the place where the connection happens or where the energy is the most. Stars are getting formed in sea pinches, and we had sea pinch devices and all kinds of things. And yesterday, when I was watching that, I thought I really have to share that with you because it's amazing.
We've heard that story a few places. Likewise, I brought along, this is, I think from a church someplace. I don't know. I've never really seen one used, but I guess it's what they served the wafer from or something. Someone sent this to me. But what you can see, what it really is it's the top half of this. It's this part here and this earth plane here. Now, I'm using it as a model. I'm not saying that that's what this was intended to be. But what we've got is this cup, this chalice in the middle. See, this is this wine cup, this chalice, this Grail cup. And so, of course, the Grail legends fit the same model too. Nobody walk into that. And so this is the top of the top or the bottom of my apple. And here, this is a broken one, but you can see how pretty it is when you make it really carefully. This is the hand. This is also the wing of the cherubs sitting on top of the ark cover. In fact, we've got a computer graphic that shows that, and I'm not sure where it is in my pile. I think it's worth taking a moment to find it. Yes, here it is. The upper picture is the hand model. The lower picture, if you turn it sideways, these are the two cherubs with their wings and the fiery point in the middle from which God supposedly speaks. From which the projection, the seed center from which the projection takes place. And these will be available eventually. A few places.
So now,
Likewise, but what we've
here's the chalice and the apple. Earth is a dimpled sphere as well. And we could just draw the Scatterman here. This is something I thought yesterday that, and also this chalice is having there in his hand, discharge events. If you watch a Birkeland current from underneath or from the side, they will look different because it's a tunnel in a way. And I thought that's really interesting because there doesn't seem to be any contradiction between the electric universe and about the things he's talking about. At least in this pattern recognition thing. That's yesterday I was like, whoa, that's amazing. That's really cool. So I just wanted to share that with you. Yeah, thanks.